Hey, I'm Chef Rich, a classically trained chef, author, and award-winning culinary educator. With over 2 decades of experience, I've discovered that food is more than just food. It's our greatest medicine. But here's the truth. There is no quick fixes, magic pills, superfoods, or diets that work. Welcome to a different kind of cooking show. Our mission? To inspire, educate, and prove that getting healthy doesn't have to be complicated or expensive. I'll share tips on saving you money at the grocery store, saving you time in the kitchen, and creating meals that everyone will eat. I'll expose the lies about food, reduce the stress about what's for dinner, and remove the struggle of getting healthy. If you give me a chance, I promise, we'll always make it fun, easy, and delicious. Now let's get cooking. Hey, I'm Chef Rich, and welcome to One Plate Kitchen, where we save you money at the grocery store, we save you time in the kitchen, and we make meals that are easy, delicious, fun, and healthy. Today, we're going to take a trip, and we're going to go to Germany. One of the things I love about cooking is the ability to taste other people's cultures without leaving our kitchen. And one of the things we always try to stress here is you make these recipes your own. All right, today, we're adding chicken, so we're going to make it our own. You know, the one plate way. We're going to add a little bit of chicken breast, or we're going to add a little bit of chicken thighs to it. All right, now if you didn't want to add this, if you wanted to add fish or shrimp or beef or pork or whatever you wanted to do, or just add no meat at all, you can. And traditionally, the German dish actually just comes with vegetables. It has mushrooms and onions and broccoli. Really, that's it. So if you wanted to make it that simple, you're more than welcome to. But I definitely want you to make it your own. So now, since you know what we're making, let's take a look at the stars of the show, the ingredients. Now, like always, we have our chicken stock. Over here in this container, we have some fresh coconut milk. And I love using coconut milk because it gives the dish like a kind of creaminess. Now, traditionally, it comes with coconut milk anyway. So even if it didn't come with it, I would like to add it anyway because it gives that really richness to it and it's healthy. Now here we have some of our frozen love. Of course, remember, we always want to give love to the frozen vegetables. So we have some broccoli here. Now, instead of me taking the time to go out and buy the broccoli and then to take it and cut it all up and to peel it so I can get the stem so I can use as much of it as possible, I'm using frozen broccoli that's already cut up for me. All right, so all I got to do is add it to it, let it thaw out and cook in there, and it's a done deal. We have an onion, which we're going to cut a little bit differently today. All right, we're going to have a little bit bigger rings to it, which is going to be fun. We have mushrooms. Here we have some parsley. Now again, instead of me going to the store, chopping up parsley, getting it, washing it, mincing it up as fine as possible, here I have some dry parsley. Now again, it's going to add just as much flavor as you would with fresh stuff, and it's also going to taste good. So you definitely want to make sure you have some of that in your pantry, just in case. Here we have some flour. And of course, everyone's best friend, our one plate herb salt. Then we have some tomato paste, right? Not tomato sauce or tomato like a puree. We're using tomato paste, and it's really important. I'm going to tell you why it's so important that we use that. And in here, we have our chicken thighs. All right, now the chicken thighs, again, if you wanted to use chicken breast, you can use chicken breast. If you want to use any of your favorite protein, you can. I like using chicken thighs in this because, again, they have a little bit more fat in them than like a lean chicken breast. So even when I start to cook it, I'm still going to have something that has amazing flavor. Right, when we're using a lean protein like a chicken breast, there's a good chance that I can cook it too much. I can overcook it, and then it becomes dry and tough. So we want to be really careful with that. Now, since you know all the stars of the show, let's get cooking. So the first thing we're going to work on is the chicken. Right, I'm going to get my pan on because remember, I want this thing to be nice and hot. So I'm going to get my chicken over here and I'm going to start cutting this up. Now when we're working with chicken breast or chicken thighs, you see this little extra fat here? We want to make sure we take that off. We don't really need it in this dish at all, so we want to get rid of it. If I see any kind of bone fragment in there, I want to make sure I take care of that too and get rid of that. Now all I'm going to do is just take this and just slice it up. Then I'm just going to make chunks out of it. What size? It doesn't matter. You can make whatever size chunks you want to make out of this. You can leave these whole pieces like that if you wanted to. The only thing when we're cutting this chicken up, one of the things that I want you to remember is that if I'm going to do this, and if I was going to put this right next to it and try to cook it the same, what will happen is this will take longer to cook than this will. Because these are such small pieces already, all right, these are going to cook up pretty fast. All right, this is going to take much longer to cook. So whatever you decide on, that's what you want to stay with. All right, so I'm just going to put this over here. And I'm going to finish cutting up the rest of this chicken. Chicken all cut up, ready to go. I'm going to season this up. Very, very simple seasoning. I'm just going to take some of my 1 plate herb salt, and I'm just going to mix it up. All right, one of the good things about our 1 plate herb salt is that it has so many different herbs and spices in there, or just herbs really, different types of herbs in there, that it has like a kind of a different flavor with each one that we use. One of the good things is I just found, like when you start digging through here and you start mixing this up, I found a little piece of cartilage in there. It's not really bone, it's cartilage. So I want to be careful with that. So when you're doing yours and you start mixing this up, you want to get your hands in there and you'll be able to feel if they left any cartilage in there. It's not a big deal. We can just take that and trim that right off. But I want to make sure that you don't try to eat that. All right, so that's good to go. Our pan is nice and hot. I'm going to add about 1 tablespoon of oil there. And I'm going to start adding my chicken to this. And you can hear that nice sizzle. That's what we want. Is that nice sizzling. So we got this in there. It's looking good. Oh, I wish you could smell it. It smells amazing already. Now, one of the things we would normally say is, oh, you don't want to overcrowd the pan, don't want to overcrowd the pan. I have a pretty big pan in here, and it's a cast iron pan. So I'm not saying you can't overcrowd it. You can definitely overcrowd it, so you want to be careful with it. But it retains the heat, and we're going to talk about, in a couple episodes to come, we're going to talk about different pans to use, the material that they're made out of, and then how it helps or hurts cooking. Because depending on if it's aluminum, if it's cast iron like this one, or stainless steel, they all have different properties in them that kind of make them good or bad to use. All right, some will cool off really, really quick. Some, like this cast iron, will retain its heat and stay hot for a long time, and that's what we want. All right, so I'm just gonna let that mix in there and start to get some color. Now, before I do anything else, I want to get in there and wash these hands, so I'll be right back. Hey, Chef Rich here, and I want to officially introduce you to my 1 plate herb salt. Now, this is the perfect all-in-one seasoning that I carefully handcrafted to enhance any dish. Now, our proprietary herb blend not only provides delicious flavor, but also offers antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties for the health-conscious eater. Now, it's also packed with vitamins and minerals, and that green hue comes from the natural chlorophyll found in fresh herbs. To get some for yourself, visit our website. Okay, we're back. Hands washed, super clean. Now we're going to work on the next ingredient. Remember, whenever we start cooking, we want to work in stages. And we want to make sure the stages that we work in is what's going in next. All right, it's going to save us time in the kitchen. All right, so we want to make sure, okay, this is looking good. It's smelling incredible. And I want to let it get some color. All right, so don't be scared to let it stay in there for a couple minutes. I'm going to get my onion next. So we're going to take this. And this we're going to cut a little bit differently. Normally we take this and we make some really nice dice out of it and different sizes out of it. Today, we're going to keep it a little bit easier. And we're just going to make some slices from it. All right, now we can take this. Now we can take this and just cut straight down if we wanted to. But the only thing I'm scared about doing that is, you see how wobbly this onion is? There's a chance that you can slip and kind of cut your fingers. So what I want to do is I just want you to put it down on this edge and just take it, cut it right down the middle. And we'll peel that brown skin off. And we're just going to take these and make nice cuts out of it. It doesn't matter how thick they are, but again, what we're looking for is all the same size. All right, the thicker they are, not even the better. because as it cooks in there, you're going to be able to, have this nice piece of sweet onion, which is nice. So I'm going to get this one cut in there, put this in there as well. I want you guys to be the first to know that I started writing a book. My book, if everything goes well, we'll be having it ready for you guys to look at in January. So pray for me. All right, so we got our onions ready to go. Super easy cutting those. Now I'm going to come back over here. I want to take a look. I can smell that it's getting some nice color on there, and I want to get in there and look at it and say, okay, I'm getting some nice color on there. I'm going to stir this around. I want to make sure I get some of the raw pieces down in there on the bottom of the pan. And again, I want to make sure the pan isn't burning either. I want to make sure the bottom of the pan doesn't burn. So I'm going to let that go, let it sit for another couple minutes, and then I'm going to add my onions to it. So, like I was saying, I cut up my mushrooms because they're going to go in after my onions. Your mushrooms, you can cut them up however you want. If you wanted to cut them just in pieces like this, you could. All right, I'm going to just take these. We'll cut it a little bit differently. We'll cut it the same way that we did the onions. So we'll have some nice kind of big chunks in there, which is nice. I like it. It's fun. It's different. All right, we'll put that over there. And all we're going to do is just slice these down. So our book is going to be all about kind of culinary health and wellness. And one of the things that we try to talk about in every show is making food your greatest medicine. Is eating in a way that kind of helps you get healthy. All right, so our book is all based on, how to use food as your greatest medicine. How to cook meals that are pretty delicious and amazing. All right, so now, next step, onion goes in. Now, when you put these onions in, make sure you just break them up with your fingers a little bit. You don't want any big chunks in there. Like if this went in there, we want to make sure we just kind of break these up a little bit. And I'm going to let these go. Now, again, one of the good things about cooking it this way is that now I know my chicken is starting to cook. You'll see some recipes will tell you to take the chicken out and then start with your onions and then start with your mushrooms and everything like that. I don't want to do that because it takes too much time. All right, it's not wrong. It just takes a little more time than I want it to take. All right, so I'm just going to get my onions in there, break these up. I want to make sure I get everything in there. And then just give this a stir. Again, if you see any onions that are still in there, just break them up too. We're going to give this a little stir and just let it start cooking those onions. Now what happens is onions start to infuse with chicken flavor, and they start to kind of talk together, and they start mingling flavors, which we really want. I don't want to taste this and just taste chicken first, then I taste onion, then I taste mushroom. I want to have kind of like a medley of all the flavors. All right, so I'm going to just take this, finish chopping up my mushrooms. All right, so our mushrooms are almost cut up. Onions are looking good. We just want those onions just to soften up a little bit. But I don't want them to kind of get brown or anything. So mushrooms look great. Go in there, give this a stir. Oh, this smells incredible. I'm going to turn this up. Now I'm going to add my mushrooms to it. So you can see it's a pretty easy dish. It's an easy dish to do that we just kind of start adding one ingredient on top of the other one, on top of the other one, on top of the other one. And you can see, and you can imagine the cost on this is pretty inexpensive. And that's what we're always looking for. We're always looking to save you money at the grocery store. Kind of add some seasoning and some flavor to it. All right, so I just added onions. I just added mushrooms. I'm going to add just a little bit of herb salt to it. Now, with every layer I add a little bit of flavor. Layer, seasoning, layer, seasoning, layer, seasoning, just like that. That way, when the whole dish is done, it has tons of flavor. We don't really have to do anything to it. All right, so this is looking great. Now you'll see once we add the mushrooms to it, mushrooms are like anywhere from like 75 to 90% water. So they're gonna release a ton of water in there. So you wanna make sure you turn your heat up just a little bit. So any of that water that comes out, it kind of gets evaporated as it cooks in there. All right. Okay, oh, you can see this right here. You see how it's starting to stick to the bottom of the pan, which is a good thing. But remember, from here, we want to be really careful. Now we're getting a lot of that moisture you see coming out from all those the mushrooms. What I could do is just take my spoon and just start scraping that up with that liquid. All right, what happens is I'm just saving my pan, saving my whole dish from burning or ruining it, but I'm not losing any of that flavor at all. All right, so I'm just scraping that up. Okay, that's looking great. Now I'm going to add my next ingredient, and that's going to be our tomato paste. And if you haven't added tomato paste to the dish before, one of the reasons we want to add it is because it's already a paste. We don't have to do any reducing to this. So there is a ton of flavor in this that I want to kind of extract. Now as it's cooked, because it's reduced down, there's so much kind of natural sugar in there that it's going to get sweeter and sweeter and sweeter the more I cook it. All right, so what we're going to do here is just get it in there, just mix it in. All right, besides all that sweetness and flavor that it adds, you're going to see it's also going to add like an incredible color to this that's going to make your dish just like eye-catchingly beautiful. All right, so I want to make sure it gets mixed in with everything. And one of the things you notice when you do this at home is that aroma you get from it. You see, okay, it's a little tart right now, and you can smell kind of like a sharp smell to it. But as it cooks, and you'll see it gets sweeter and sweeter, like that aroma gets more soft and softer and softer. But at this point, I want to turn down my heat. Crucial step. All right, turn down your heat. Because there's no liquid in there, what'll happen is this will, and you can see it here, you see how it's starting to stick to the bottom of the pan? All right, that's a good thing, but we want to be very, very careful with it. All right, if I let it go too much, it can burn, and if it burns, the whole dish is ruined. You know, there's no coming back from it. There's no fixing that at all. All right, at this point, I can smell, it smells incredible. I'm going to add some flour to this. And the reason I'm going to add flour to this is I want this to be like my thickening agent. All right, I want my sauce to have some body to it. All right, and what will give me that body is this flour. Now what the flour will also do is it'll absorb any liquid in there. And you can see almost automatically any liquid that was in there has been already absorbed by that flour. So we're just gonna cook this for like maybe a minute. I wanna be careful. Remember, this is a very dry pan now, so burning it is really easy. So we're gonna mix this up. And then I'm gonna hit this with my chicken stock. I always like to add a little bit first. And then I like just to get in there and mix it up. If I don't do it this way, what could happen? If I don't add a little bit first and then start stirring this up and then add the rest of my liquid to it, if I just added all my liquid to it, there's a good possibility that some of the flour in there will make lumps. And once it forms lumps, it's like it's almost impossible to get it out. All right, so we always like to add a little bit at a time first. I add a little bit, I give it a stir. I see, okay, it's already incorporated, it's starting to thicken up like a sauce. Then I can add a little bit more. Then I'm gonna get in there again and stir it. And again, this is just being cautious. Do you have to do it? You don't. But again, it makes it a little bit safer to do it this way. Now, as I'm stirring this up, I'm also scraping the bottom of the pan, getting all that flavor in the bottom of it. And you can see the color looks incredible. I love the color of this dish. All right, so that looks good there. Now I'm gonna add the rest of my liquid to it. That's beautiful. Now I'm going to give this a stir. Now all I'm going to do here is just kind of bring it up to a boil and then turn it right down to a simmer. Once I get it down to a simmer, then all I'm going to do is add my broccoli to it. I'm going to add some of my fresh herbs. I'll add my coconut milk, and that's it. Dish done. Flavor, development, health is incredible. And again, you can add any vegetables you want to this. Don't think that you just, well, I saw Chef Rich add broccoli, so that's all I can add. Remember, you don't have to just add broccoli. Add whatever vegetables you love, but please be adventurous. Try different vegetables. Okay, this is looking great. Now, as soon as it comes up to a boil, I'm going to turn it down to a simmer and then add my broccoli to it. All right, I can feel the bottom scraped up nicely. It feels good. There's nothing sticking to it. And now I'm just going to add, it's coming up to a boil now. I'm going to add my broccoli to it. And again, this whole dish, if I wasn't using my frozen broccoli, you can add another maybe 10 minutes, 12 minutes to it, because I have to, take care of the broccoli, cut the broccoli, get it all set up and ready, before I can get it in here. Since it's already frozen, it already has all these little pieces cut up for me. All I gotta do is add it to it. So it saves me a ton of time. Now I'm just gonna let this simmer for a minute or 2 minutes, just for that broccoli to kind of warm up in here and start to cook. At this point here, I'm going to start to add my parsley. Remember, we're using a dry parsley, right? So I want to add it in now, just so it has time to incorporate. It has time to kind of reconstitute and impart its flavor as well. If this was a fresh parsley that I just cut, and then that would be the very last thing. Once everything was completely cooked, then I would add in my parsley. But because it's dry, I can add it in a little bit earlier. I'm just gonna let this mix in. And then one of the last things we'll do is add some of our coconut milk. And this is smelling, I wish you could smell it, because it smells incredible. It looks like beautiful. It looks insane. I love it. All right, this is great. Now I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit. And I'm just going to add some of the coconut milk now. I'm going to let this go in. And we can always add more if we want more coconut milk. But if we put too much in all in one shot, and then it's in there, just like seasoning. Or you can always add more seasoning to it, but once it's in there, and then it makes it pretty tough to take it out, because you can't take it out. Like if you over salted something, there's no taking that out. I know I've heard all kinds of put a potato in there and all kinds of crazy stuff. None of that stuff works. All right, so now we're just gonna let this come back up to a simmer. Just let it simmer for like 2 or 3 minutes, and then it's time to eat. One of the things I think a lot of home cooks or home chefs don't do is they don't taste, their dishes as they're cooking them, or they don't taste them before they serve them. Or one of the things I definitely want you to do is taste this. Or I definitely want you to kind of get a spoon and just taste it. That way we can see, do we have to add more seasoning to it? Or is there something that it's missing that I can just add to it right now before I start serving it? So we'll just... Wow, that's good. But it definitely needs just a little bit more seasoning to it. And we're just going to give this a stir. I wish you could smell it, because it smells incredible. But I know you'll smell it when you make it at home. I know you'll smell it then. And I know you're going to love it. I promise you. So we'll give it one more taste and see how it is. Perfect. All right, now when you make this at home, if you're gonna add chicken, the only thing we're looking for right now, flavor, perfect, it's good. Now I just wanna go through and just look maybe for the biggest piece of chicken I can find and make sure that's completely cooked. Or if it was shrimp, it takes about 3, maybe 4 minutes to cook your shrimp, and I'll put it in more towards the end to let it go. Same thing with fish, pork, beef, anything that you want to add to it. You just want to make sure those pieces of meat are completely cooked or to your doneness, and then you're ready to serve this dish. So it is super quick and easy to make. So now, let's start plating this up because it smells incredible and I can't wait to dig into it. So I have my small spoon for serving. I'm just gonna get in there, give this a stir, because I wanna make sure I get all the ingredients in there. And this is pretty much done, so I'm just gonna shut it off now. That looks incredible, it smells delicious. And now we'll just get a spoonful of it. It's like a big Fred Flintstone spoon. So we go 1, 2, 3, and right in. I want to get a little bit more broccoli. I'm a big broccoli fan. And that is definitely a healthy sized portion right there. Oh my goodness, this smells incredible. Now come on, it doesn't get any easier than this. If we work together, getting healthy and feeling better doesn't have to be complicated or expensive. We don't need any of these fad diets. You don't need any of this nonsense that you see on social media. All right, we just need this, good food, good cooking. All right, I promise we'll always make it fun, easy, and delicious, and we'll do it one plate at a time. God bless, and I'll see you next time.